I think a personal goal I've set for myself this season is wanting to see my children thrive and having fun with what they love to do. Creating a signature choreography piece means a lot to me. It all starts with the group of kids I'm working with, and I immediately tell what would look best on them, and then I find a piece of music that I fall in love with, and then from there I just work the magic and create with them, and it always turns out great. Working with younger kids for as long as I have, I always appreciate when parents come up to me and say how much their children look up to me and how much they appreciate me for what I do for their children. And I love seeing their kids thrive and grow throughout the years. I think the biggest challenge that I deal with is time. I feel like there's not enough time in the week to get everything that I want to get done. It just takes time. I navigate my self doubt by trying new things. So if I get discouraged by something not going my way, I have to come up with something new in a different path to teach my kids. Managing time this season has been my biggest struggle just because I feel like there's not enough time during the week to do everything that I need to do. But I think planning is the biggest thing that's helped me. I plan everything that I do, when I do it, and when I want to do it. Sacrifices I've made are doing things that I don't really do on a daily basis or things that I enjoy, like going to the beach or just any of that free time that I have for myself is dedicated for the stuff that I have to do and plan for. I think the biggest thing is the people that I work with. They give me so much support. They are my biggest cheerleaders, and even the kids that I teach. It's just been a great year, and they give me so many ideas. They bring me to life. I think one moment where I doubted myself was last fall when I was working for the high school dance company. We were getting super close to the end, and there were like 2 weeks left until the show, and my choreo wasn't done because we had the hurricane and we had to miss rehearsal. So that put a lot of stress on me. From a past experience where I it didn't work, I just take it with a grain of salt. It's a learning curve. Not everything happens for a reason, and that's okay. You just find new ways to navigate it. The biggest advice I can give to someone is patience. Patience is a big thing. No matter what age you're dealing with, you need to find that life skill with any job, and with being in the dance community, everything doesn't happen right then and there. It takes time. How I stay motivated is the kids. They drive my passion for teaching, And I wouldn't be where I am today without the kids that I teach, because they are my inspirations and they feed me so many new ideas. My relationship with dance has grown just because of the times that we're in now. Dance now, from when I was dancing then, has changed so much. It's more demanding, but from being a dancer to a teacher, the roles reversed. So now I get to fill in the shoes of the teachers who taught me. Giving back to the community means so much to me because they are the ones who seen me grow since I was 3 when I started dance. And I can only imagine what they saw in their eyes from when I was 3 all the way up until I graduated and now. And I am seeing that in my very own eyes from the kids that I'm teaching now, when they started at 3 and now some of them are 9, 10, and they're phenomenal. The way I foster creativity in my students is encouraging them to try new things. I don't want them to be stuck in the same things that they have been doing. I always try and find new things to teach them, new ways of teaching, to get them more involved in their process of learning. One big thing that I hope my students take away is their love for dance. I never want them to lose that passion and drive for what they're doing, because what they are doing right now is really hard to navigate through, being a teenager, dealing with school and dance and other things that they're involved in. And I just want them to never forget why they started dance in the first place. The way I measure the impact that I see is when students come back. When I see the students come back or they ask for me to be their teacher again, it really touches my heart, because I see that I've made an impact on their life and want to be a part of their life. So growing up, being part of dance competitions and going to conventions where they have teachers from around the world teaching who have been part of big things, they really give great advice while teaching. And it's the little things that I hone in on and steal. And the way that they teach, I can see the differences from the little kids all the way up to the older kids. And really having that way of being able to teach multiple age levels is one of the biggest things that I've had to learn. I think one of the biggest things that I've learned about myself is to be very patient. I am always on the go. There's never any stop for me, but there are times where I find those moments where I just stop, and that patience is when it comes, and I'm just waiting for something new to happen. And I have learned that I take those times for granted, because those are the times I should cherish most. Dance has taught me to be disciplined and have perseverance by the amount of time I spent in the studio. There were times where it was really tough because I was physically exhausted, mentally exhausted, but I was still there for another 2, 3 hours that night, and I wasn't able to call quits. I just had to push through, and I think that's what made me the dancer I am today. Dance has shaped my identity from a dancer to a teacher by my experiences. So I started teaching just at the dance studio when I was a student teacher. I was around 14, 15. And after I graduated, I started having more opportunities to teach. Like now, I volunteer my time at the high school with the dance company and I teach for them. And I feel like I've really made a name for myself in the dance community here in Palm Coast.
I think a goal I set for myself is really just enjoying every moment, taking everything in, and not taking anything for granted. I think I define success for myself as um, just doing the things that I love to do and not taking anything for granted and not, being too hard on myself because that's a really easy thing to do in dance. The most challenging part of balancing academics and dance is time management. Before dance, after dance, like at night, sometimes you're up super late doing homework or studying, and you have to get up early the next morning and use a lot of brain power. So I think really like sectioning out your time for when you're gonna do things like sleep or like have a meal and really not waste any time. I handle the physical and emotional exhaustion of a busy schedule by just looking forward and thinking about what I'm working towards and what I'm aiming to complete and the things I want to master and just the future and not, being too hard on the present because that can stop you. The most challenging part of nearing the end of my season is like reminiscing on all the experiences that I've had before. Um, it's kind of it's bittersweet to look back and be like, oh, I used to do that, but I'm excited for new things to come in the future. I stay focused on my goals by just not listening to too many external stressors and thinking too much. It's easier said than done, but just looking ahead and keeping the motivation and dedication that I've had for dance. I think the moments that I feel most confident is coming off stage after a good performance and having my whole team run up to me and give me a hug and say that I was great even when I don't feel my best. It really is just it uplifts you a lot. Overcoming challenges has changed my outlook by showing me that I can do it because there are times where you are stuck in a place where you think that you can't and you're never going to get to where you want to be. But once you push over that hump, it's validating to you. And some advice I would give is to not lose sight of where you're going and what you're working towards because in the end it'll all be worth it. It's a really difficult process sometimes and it can be hard, but it's also rewarding in a lot of moments. So I think just not losing sight of the track that you're on and the end goal that you're trying to reach. When the pressure feels overwhelming, I kind of dig myself a hole a little bit, but I have amazing people around me to, help me out of it and thinking ahead and thinking of why I do what I do and why I've been doing it for so long. It really just it lifts you up and it'll, take you where you want to get to. My biggest takeaway from the dance studio is my family. Being there it's an amazing community. Whether they're older, younger, teachers, parents, they're all just really supportive, and to never take them for granted because they'll be there until you leave. Dance has shaped me pretty much since I was 4 years old. It's all I've done, the only sport I've ever done. So it really is a huge part of me. And I think never losing sight of where I want to go and what I want to achieve has instilled a lot of character traits and just parts of me that I wouldn't have unless I kept up with dance the way I did. The final season means that all the hard work that I've put in for the past 15 years has been worth it. And, I didn't quit on my way when it got hard, and I had people there to take me and carry me. It means that I pushed through the hardships, and I'm excited to reach my future goals. I handle the bittersweet emotions by thinking back on the things that I've experienced, but also thinking ahead on the things that I will experience. And the kids that I'm around all the time at the studio, thinking about their futures and the things that they've struggled with in the past and what they've already overcome. I think that those moments kind of take away the sadness of being done and make the past 15 years really worth it. I think my greatest source of inspiration has been my family. They've always been there for me, no matter if I did good or I did bad, or, I wanted to be done or I wanted to do more. They've always just been there pushing me to do what I want, but never forcing me to do things I didn't want to. I would say I approach moments of self doubt with kind of accepting them and realizing that they're completely normal, but also not letting myself dwell on them too much because I know that I will overcome them no matter how long it takes, and everyone will get there eventually. My instructors and peers play a huge role in keeping me focused on the things I want to achieve, and honestly, the present too. They don't let me miss a single moment that's happening now, and don't let me lose sight of the things that I really want to accomplish. I hope that my performance and my journey inspires dedication and drive, um, honestly, in anything, not really just dance, but just staying motivated and knowing that regardless of what you've experienced or what you think you will experience, you will make it to where you want to be. Dance has taught me about discipline and perseverance by having such a demanding schedule, especially as a younger kid. You don't have very much time in the day for yourself because you're at the studio, but that's where you want to be. It's not like I was ever forced there. I wanted to be at the studio as much as I could. So that um, grew my dedication from a young age, and I just have been persevering through everything and all the long rehearsals that I have to have. I really just enjoy them now. I think my future drives my passion for dance. Um, Thinking ahead, thinking about the lives that I can affect and the lives that I can inspire. Um, I think that really keeps me fueled and keeps me going. In 5 years, I see myself with a bachelor's degree in exercise science, and I see myself working with dancers on strength training and technique and really keeping their bodies safe while also being able to grow in the things that they want to do and the skills that they want to achieve.